In this next video, I'm going to talk about how do you deal with somebody who is trying to force you to go to AA. You know, whether that's a judge or a doctor or an employer. This is from an email that I got. So I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com, and today I want to talk about an email that I got from a man who was asking, he obviously went to, I think it was his employer, and they said that he should go to AA. I'm not sure if it was his employer or his doctor, it was one of the two. So how do you actually go about dealing with that kind of a situation where somebody is insisting that you go to the AA? Now, I think that in some areas, I'm not sure if it's in the UK, or I've heard about it in America, and I'm not sure if they do it in England or Ireland, that in some cases a judge will send you to AA as part of your sentencing. So if you're caught drinking and driving, if you're caught doing something and you know you're citing alcoholism as an excuse, that they'll actually send you to Alcoholics Anonymous. And in those cases, I don't think there's much you can do about it. I think you have to go. If it's a court order, you've got to go. Now, if it's your employer, first thing I'd say was, why are you telling your employer? Now, I haven't worked for somebody for a long time, right? So maybe I'm just out of touch, maybe I'm missing something here, but my employer would be the last person I'd tell if I had a drinking problem. For a start, I think most people, when you look at the world of drinkers, your employer is likely to be a drinker himself. Now, that's like the black kettle going to the black pot for advice on how to be clean. It's just doesn't make any sense. If you've stopped drinking, like I did, I remember talking to somebody, I think I've spoken about this before, about quitting drinking, and they were sort of saying, well, how can I be assured that you're going to be doing your job and that you're going to give me 100% of your commitment, and you won't slide back into your alcoholism, right? And I'd been off the booze for a good while at this stage. I said, I've got no problem with alcohol. No. It's I don't drink anymore, period. So the guy that's probably saying this to you, the woman, whatever, they probably still have an alcohol problem. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, reading into it, you're talking about people use alcohol to try and find an external solution for an internal need or an internal problem or whatever, right? Now, if you're trying to find something outside of yourself for something that can only be found inside, it's an internal thing, happiness, relaxation, reward, all that kind of stuff is on the inside, then that's a problem. So, for one drug dealer to start lecturing another, for one drug user, might be a drug dealer as well, for one drug user to be lecturing an ex-drug user on how they should deal with their problem, that's not on, right? So unless there's circumstances where you have to tell your doctor that you've got, or your employer that you've got a problem, then I wouldn't mention it at all. It's a good hill, this one. Your doctor is a different thing. I think you should tell your doctor, but you can only really rely on your doctor to deal with the damage that alcohol has caused, not the alcoholism itself. And of course, they don't know what they're talking about when it comes to dealing with the psychological problems of alcoholism. Oh man, that was a climb. They don't know how to deal with the psychological problems of drinking alcohol, the internal stuff, and they're only going to send you to AA, or if there's a local group, or as I said, your doctor is probably not the best person to go to for anything other than medical problems. Or medical problems I'm talking about, obviously liver, if you're thinking you've got problems with your liver, or any of your other organs, or if you fall and you break an arm or a leg while you're drunk, then obviously you have to go to your doctor, but they don't know. They have no other sort of tools at their disposal rather than sending you to the AA in the majority of cases. That's what they're going to do, because that's what they know. I God love the doctors. I mean, they're anytime I've seen a doctor, they just look stressed out of their eyeballs. So, I mean, it's great when you're really worried about something. I go to the doctor then, but apart from that, I stay away from the buggers, because I think somebody who's under that much pressure, I think I can do a better job of answering my own problems. Anyway, there's nothing that you can do about what other people are going to think or say. So, you were saying, well, if you refuse to go to AA, if they suggest AA, somebody, your employer, your doctor suggests that you go to AA and you refuse, and they can say, well, you're not willing to help yourself, and there's nothing you can do about that. You can't change people's opinions. A lot of people, they look at you as a problem. They see a problem in their own minds. They think of the first solution that they can think of, which is AA, and they think if you're not willing to take that you're not looking after yourself. That's their problem. You have to deal with things yourself. Now, as I say, I don't know. I mean, I can't talk about employee relations. I mean, if your job is at stake, then you have to sort of look at your job first, and look at your employer, and look at that relationship, and think, well, is this worth it? Is your job on the line? If it's on the line now, then obviously your employer's thinking something about you, which is not gonna, he's not gonna easily get rid of that out of his mind. If he thinks that you need AA, that treatment, then he's obviously in that frame of mind of that you're an alcoholic. And that's something that people don't really get rid of very quickly, even if they're drinkers themselves, because they don't consider themselves to be alcoholics, but they still put the name onto other people, and it's a bad name. Once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic, that kind of thing. There's always this danger of slipping and all this bullshit. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't tell your employer unless you have to, and I can't see any reason why you would have to, unless, even for insurance and that kind of stuff, it's a very subjective name to sort of say, well, this person has got a problem and that person hasn't got a problem. Obviously, if you've got into trouble at work because you've been drunk on the job, then it's a different story. I mean, I don't know the situation, so I can't really comment on it. Like I say, I wouldn't tell my employer. I would tell my doctor. I'd have no problem in saying, look, I'm drinking for a long time and I'm worried about these medical issues. There's not very many people I would tell that, because I don't believe it myself, But obviously, yeah, if it's interfering with your work, or so hey, look, if you've got any questions, I'd love to hear what anyone has to say about this, because I'm not really sure about the employer front, whether you're obliged to divulge information about that, and how do you do that. I mean, I don't believe, like I say, in the alcohol thing, so I don't see that as an option for me. And I don't believe, especially if you're on the other side of it, you've stopped drinking, there is no fucking problem, but some people will make out that there is, for whatever reason. So I'd love to hear what you think about that. If you've got knowledge that I haven't, then share it with me down in the comments, please. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you like I say, if you've any comments, put them down below. And if you haven't signed up to the newsletter yet, then give us a shout. It's a great day today. Yeah, give us a shout. Yeah, go over to the website if you haven't signed up to the newsletter, and you'll get there's 2 free books there if you haven't got those already. Hang Loose Without Booze. They're just some ideas that I've put together to try and give you a different perspective on what to do after you've quit drinking. So if you haven't got those yet, go over to the website. It's on the front page. Just put in alcoholmastery.com and you'll see them there. You'll see the form to put your email address, and I'll send them to you. Okay, until next time, have a great week. Onwards and upwards.